So in this video, we're going into turn 8 of Port Arthur, and now we are entering winter months, so the turn is actually going to represent 2 months. So we'll have the same type of actions happening, but the time period is now over 2 months rather than 1 month, simulating the winter. So this still is the 1904 year. So the Japanese player begins, and one thing to note is during winter, all of the rivers have frozen over. So they lose their defensive benefits, and the movement is improved. The penalty is negated. So the Japanese receive some reinforcements. The 8th Infantry Division lands at port in Chuang Ho. Also, the 1st Reserve and 9th Reserve Brigades debark there, and the Japanese commander uses the remainder of his replacements to bring some of the reduced infantry divisions from the Port Arthur battles back up to full strength. Now, as you can see in the picture, a massive assault is launched against the Russian position at Liaoyang, and it is defended by the 35th Infantry Division and the 2nd East Siberian Division. And these Russian units are dug in the town. But the Japanese now have their heavy artillery regiments and the fact of the rivers being frozen. So the Russians surrender. And so that changes the victory point total now to Russia 35, Japan 23. And you can see all of that in the picture. Then we go to the Russian portion of the turn. The Russians receive a raft of reinforcements here. 5 infantry divisions and a light infantry division arrive at Mukden. The Japanese army has surrounded the 5th and 9th East Siberian infantry divisions. This is just north of Liaoyang, and the Russian commander sends some divisions out of Mukden to help relieve the tracked infantry, to help them to break out. The 9th and the 41st, which you can see in the picture, advance on the northeastern side of the Japanese position. And then the Russian Rifle Corps makes a frontal attack against the Japanese 6th Infantry Brigade, which is the one that is holding that northern point. The Japanese brigade is destroyed, but the Russians also lose a step. So that changes the victory points to Russia 36 and Japan 24. But it does reopen the supply lines to the 2 Russian infantry divisions that had been surrounded. You can see that in the picture. Then, during strategic movement, the Japanese 8th Infantry maneuvers to the Qingkou, where it can pin down the Russian 61st Reserve Division at Wuchao. Then the 1st and 9th Reserve Infantry are used to cover the western flank, and that somewhat traps the Russian units in the neighborhood of the port so that they can't come out and reinforce where the fighting's happening. The Japanese forces along the Toh River are pinned down themselves and cannot use strategic movement because they are adjacent to the enemy. The Russian commander just remains calm here, but with the capture of Port Arthur and Liaoyang, the Japanese player now collects 3 geographic victory points, and the Russians only get the 1 victory point for Mukden. So that adjusts the score now to Russia 37, Japan 27. And that will bring the November and December of 1904 turn to an end. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned if you would like to see turn 9 and what happens in January and February of 1905. Have a great day.